What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode here on our ATST by Bandai in 1/48 scale. This is the Mandalorian inspired version and I'm really excited to see what we can do today. Now last time we went ahead and applied some of these tarps and I like how that looks, but we need to go ahead and start off here right away with some dry brushing. I've got some Tamiya buff for that and that should help to kind of bring out the high points because I tried to get that tarp to conform to the panel line, so I think that should be decent. And then I want to come back and I want to apply some washes to the pallets that sit right here on the front of the legs. I think that's going to be really nice to go ahead and tone everything down, make all the details kind of pop on those tarps, ready for dirt, dust, mud, and all that good stuff. Now, speaking of washes, I want to go ahead and use two different washes that I have from Army Painter. One of them is the dark tone, and then one of them is the soft tone. The dark tone is going to hopefully kind of settle in the crevices, and that's going to be the darkest color. And then the soft tone will come in and kind of blend that into the other colors there. And then, like I said, the dry brushing will bring out the high points. So that's kind of the plan. I'm going to go ahead and start with the dry brushing here of Tamiya buff. We're going to go over all the tarps. Then after that is dry, we'll come back and we'll apply the washes to the recesses on those tarps. So let's go ahead and jump on in, see what we can do. Let's get this party started. All right, everybody, we are back and that actually went together decently. I like how it looks so far. So we're going to go ahead and let that kind of sit for right now and we're going to shift over to some rigging. And I'm going to go ahead and use some easy line and we're going to lash the pallets down to the front of the legs. Then we're going to come back and we're going to add in some tie downs to the tarps. Now, speaking of rigging, I want to go ahead and use some easy line. And to be honest, I probably should have picked up some of the thicker easy line. This is the fine easy line, but I didn't. So we're just going to use what we have here. This is going to match the rest of the rigging we did for the armor plates on the sides of the turret. So at least we're keeping within that same look. So let's go ahead and jump back into a time lapse. I want to go ahead and lash all those pallets to the front of the legs and add in some easy line rigging for the tarps. Let's go ahead and continue and fingers crossed this turns out. All right, everybody, we are back, and that actually took a little longer than I anticipated it was going to take, probably about 4 hours. Now, as you can see from the close-up, we tried to go ahead and pick significant points there on the tarp, and I actually used a very thin needle and my pin vise to go ahead and poke little grommets into the edges of the tarp. I tried to string in some easy line and wrap it around protrusions that kind of stick off the back of the leg and off the front of the thigh, just so it has that impression of it being held down and under tension. I don't really know if it worked as well as I would have liked it to. This one side here could have been a little bit better. I went a little bit above and beyond the references to add in even more detail and more rigging. So it's okay. I like it. It was fun. Now on the pallets here, I've lashed those down to the front of the legs, and I used easy line for that. Didn't have any trouble with that, though. I think they should be a little bit thicker, but it is what it is. But I did not do anything for this tarp on the foot. And the reason I didn't do anything here, because I need to go ahead and figure out what kind of dirt and mud this is going to be stepping in. Now, I probably will add a few more pieces of easy line, just maybe around the side, maybe tuck it up underneath the foot, glue it down, poke a few more grommets in the different areas. So I think that's going to be okay, but I didn't want to do that quite yet till I figure out my terrain. Now, in regards to terrain, I'm not really that adept at creating bases or creating any sort of landscape. I've never done that before, so I don't really know how to go about starting that process. Luckily for me, it does come with a very nice kind of undulating surface here. This plastic base looks great, and I want to go ahead and put it in some form of a frame. Now, I've got this frame here, and this is actually a 5x7, so it's a little bit too big for this, but you get the general idea. I can maybe tack this to the underside of the frame, add a little bit of extra detailing, maybe some water effects or some sort of palisades. I don't really know. I have to look back at the episode, watch that, get a feel for how the terrain actually kind of looks and how everything comes together. But once I get that figured out, I should be able to come back and hopefully reproduce something that looks the part. But no matter what frame I use, I need to go ahead and make sure it's got enough room for a battery pack. This is the one I'm going to be using. And then I also have to go ahead and rig in some form of a switch. And I might put that on the frame, maybe on the ends or the top of the frame, or I could even put it here on top of the plastic part that acts as the terrain, though that might complicate matters when I go to actually build the terrain or maybe add mud or detail. But that's going to be for another episode, guys. I'm really digging how this is turning out so far, and it's been a lot of fun learning some weathering techniques and learning all of this rigging and just kind of putting everything together and getting something that looks very unique and pretty cool. So until our next episode, everybody, you guys know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on episode number 9 of our Raider ATST here on Sci-Fi Wednesdays. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.